When you're very lucky to work in professional sport, you're able to get a situation where you can do whatever you want to them. And it changes a little bit from where you work in a clinic situation where you've only got half an hour. So you have to prioritise your treatments. Now, when you work in professional sport, you can go all day. So I think the first point is that we can try everything. Now the problem that comes with that is it's very difficult then to know what's been effective and what hasn't. And that takes a bit of time and that takes experience to work out which things you can do and which things you can't do. And I think that, again, that's quite important to get across in terms of that's probably why a lot of professional sportsmen get back quicker, is because they get pretty much the kind of, gun-ho approach and everything can be done. As I say, what you have to be careful as a clinician is you don't just try everything every single time, because you do have to know what becomes effective. So for that day, for example, they might be getting probably 3 hours treatment in the morning, and that will consist of, again, we can monitor the ice, so they can do that for the first 20 minutes if that's what they're doing, or if they're doing the hot and cold, we can monitor that and we can set up the contrast bathing. So we can set that going. Then they'll have their treatment. So their treatment will last for, and if that includes massage, you might be totaling an hour and a half, 2 hours. They then go in the gym and do their rehab. Now, when they're going to do the rehab, I tend to work in the mornings. I work where they would do purely injury-specific rehab. So they would do a bit of CV, but they also work specifically on their injuries. And then they would probably then have some lunch, and then in the afternoon we would then do everything that's not to do with their injury. So you'd work on everything else around it. So the core stability that everybody talks about, and doing some kind of cross training, doing any upper body work that we want to do, any of the other proprioception that wasn't linked to their injury. So that's when we would do it in the afternoon. So the working day of a professional athlete is quite long, actually. And as I say, but you have to get the extra amount of work into them because they're not doing an hour and a half or 2 hours of intense training. So it's quite important. You do have to get that. You have to take that time throughout the day to do that. And the other thing I would do in the afternoon is do a second set of treatment. So again, you can see that a professional sportsman is getting a lot of work every day. Now the danger that goes with that is you do too much. And I think that, anybody that has worked in professional sport will tell you that sometimes I think you can over-treat injuries. And you could just keep going, because you want to try and get something better. And because you see it tomorrow as well, it's like, oh, is it any better? Well, yeah, a little bit. But if you go from a week-to-week basis, which is probably what you would do in a clinic normally, you'd often say, yeah, it's better. And that's why, again, I think it's quite important when you ask someone how they are, and how they are compared to yesterday, you've got to take that into consideration. So I would tend to leave it for the kind of week side of cycle. And that's the difference. You are getting lots and lots and lots of treatment. And I say, I will, in those early stages, as I said to before, in that first the early stages, that in the morning and the afternoon, they would be having, the ultrasound. We could do it twice. We can do the laser. And people might argue, well, hang on, why are you doing that? Well, because we can. And the one thing is you'll try everything you can to get that professional sportsman back onto the pitch. And it works. I mean, I can only say from my experience that it does tend to work. And that's why you'll see people going back a little bit quicker than if you get an injury yourself.